there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Scrapbook Nerd. And this week we have been asked to work projects that have a masculine or a boys theme. I'm not going to say it better. So what I've pulled out is the Out and About collection from Pinkfresh Studio and a picture of my son and my nephew. They are 13 years apart, but they're very close. So what I'm going to do, I have a few ideas. And even though this collection is a travel collection, it's a travel theme, I think you can use it for everything. It's probably one of my favorite collections. I love the fact that there's a lot of colors. There's a lot of icons that you can use. So what I'm going to do is you're going to see those arrows that I pulled out. There's a cutout I created it using a cut file from Handipaper. And I really love the arrows. And I want to use them not to point direction, but to bring your eye towards the picture. So what I'm gonna do to start this project is I'm gonna back the arrows, and I'm gonna say this is the step that took the longest, just because I'm gonna use two different ways to back the arrows. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm pulling out some of the papers. Most of the papers are the ones that I want to use colorful papers. So what I'm gonna do first is start cutting foam adhesive, and I wanted to add a little bit of a dimension and that little soft shade that you see in some of my pages. And what I do is I start cutting foam adhesive just to fit behind the little lines of the outline. And it does take time. And you're going to say, oh my God, you're crazy. Yeah, but I do love it. I love the fact that there's that little hint of a shadow, that it looks delicate, that there's dimension. It does take time. I'm not going to lie. And it takes a lot of patience because when you cut foam adhesive that thin, it tends to gum up your scissors. So you have to be continuously cleaning your scissors. So once I do that, I'm going to say the outline with foam adhesive. I glue it onto the paper and fussy cut around it. And then I'm going to go into the other type of backing that I'm doing for this layout, for these arrows. And all I'm doing is just kind of scribbling. I'm putting the cut file on top of the paper using my pencil just to draw the area, the space that I'm gonna fill with pen and paper. And then I'm gonna fussy cut, making sure that I leave a tiny little offset so that I can glue it onto the outline. And I wanted to leave some empty spaces in between these little, I'm gonna say, arches that inside the arrows, just because it's first of all, it's gonna break all the straight lines that you see, and it's gonna make the bottom or the background pop out. And I think it actually just makes it softer. It makes it fun. I do like it. I like the fact that it looks like a candy cane effect kind of thing. And then I'm gonna take it off camera right now because this took some time, but and I don't think you want to see all of it. So I'm going to take it off camera and just finish all the steps. And when I come back, we're going to put this all together, which is going to be super fast. So right now, all I'm going to do, even though I have an idea in mind, you're going to see they're going to play with some of the papers. I'm going to audition it. And the first thing I do is once I put it there, that was my idea. I was like, you know what? I need to bring something that brings the emphasis to the picture because it's just getting hidden behind the arrows. So I found this piece of paper, and it's the one that has the map. This is all from Pinkfresh Studio Out and About collection. And I thought that paper actually kind of grounded the center line of the page, or the center. That's where I'm going to put the picture. So I cut, I'm going to say around a 5-inch strip of the paper, and then I'm going to glue it right on the center of the page. And I'm going to take it to my sewing machine just to stitch through the length of the strip to keep it in place and to bring some texture to the layout. And if you know anything about me, is I'm not that good with the sewing machine. And I use my mom's, and she has an industrial one. And sometimes it just gives me a lot of trouble. And today was one of those days. But you know what? I'm going to continue on. So once I have that in place, I already have an idea. Everything is cemented there. So I'm going to start bringing some embellishments. And the first thing I'm going to pull is these are the stitched frames, because they have little stitching icons at the bottom, and I really like the one that says around town. But when I put it on the paper and I put the picture, I found that it was really dark and it was trying to kind of hide the picture. So I'm going to bring a little piece of one of the red papers in the collection behind the picture. I'm going to use a layer, and that's going to make everything stand out, because whenever you have red, if you know a little bit of photography, your eye is always gonna go to the red spots. So I just added a piece of paper behind the picture, and that's as a layer. And then I'm gonna add some foam adhesive once I put it inside the frame, and then I'm glue it right on the center of the page. Now, when I glue it on the paper, you're gonna see that I'm gonna make sure that it's straight, one. And the second thing is I'm not gonna glue it right on the center, but a little bit higher, to because I know that I'm gonna add my title at the bottom. So I wanna make sure that when I add my title, it doesn't look upsided, like really heavy. So I'm gonna make sure that I push the picture a little bit higher just to balance the location of everything. And now that I have it in place, I'm gonna bring in the arrows just to make sure that when I glue them, I don't want the arrows to go all the way. I want them just to kind of like touch the edges of the picture. So some of the arrows are going to be sticking outside of the pattern paper or the background, and all I'm going to do is just cut through it. After that, I'm going to start embellishing because pretty much my layout is done. It's going to come to embellishing, and I really like these epoxy clips. They're from the collection, but what I don't like about it, or especially in this case, is that I just, because I have the foam adhesive behind the picture, it was lifting the corner. So my choice was just to take it off camera and cut the bottom part of the paper clip so that it sits flushed against the picture. And then you're going to see that I'm going to start playing with the colors of the collection just to create a cluster that has pretty much all the colors that you see in the arrows. And then one of the reasons that I'm adding that big cluster of ephemera to the top right corner of the layout is because the frame that I'm adding has that little around town ephemera at the bottom stitched to the frame. And to balance that, I need to create something at the top so that, you know, it doesn't look really bottom heavy. What I'm doing right now is I'm bringing a few of the enamel dolls. These are all from the Out and About collection, just because if you see the paper that is serving as the mat, it has these little points. I'm going to say it's like when you're looking at a map, it shows the points of interest. So I want to make sure that I bring some of those accents and to break up some of the straight lines that I have going on. After that, I'm going to start building the title. And for this, I am using alphas from the Indigo Hills 2 collection. I really love the tiny alphas. And the idea for this title is, if you see the picture, that's my son and my nephew walking. And I usually take the pictures from behind because my kids don't like to laugh to the front of the camera. So I usually, when they're walking, I'm really a fan of taking that. It helps me see how much they grow and the age difference and everything. And I really like the picture because my son is really careful by holding his hand. And I love it. It looks sweet, even though, like I said, it's a huge age difference. They're really close together. So I'm going to spell the word big steps, little steps, and I'm using for the small alphas at the Indigo Hills 2, and the bigger alphas are from the Pinkfresh Studio, the Mix 2 collection. And I pretty much have all the colors, so I pulled the ones that match this collection. After that, I'm going to bring a few more enamel dots, like I said, just to soften the area. In this case, I'm going to add them next to the title just to bring the emphasis to the lines of journal. And that's about it. In itself, the layout is super simple. It does take some time to create or like to back the arrows, but I love how this turned out. There's dimension, there's movement. I love the picture. I love the sentiment. And even though it's a travel collection, it's an everyday picture. And I hope you try it. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to check all the materials in the shop. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care, guys.